Well, hello everyone. This is Sue from Sue's Paper Creations. I want to thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. If you have just stumbled across me for the first time, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. I live in Victoria, British Columbia. And I love teaching and doing videos for you, sharing different projects that I've made. In fact, you have caught me right in the middle of 12 days of sneak peeks. So for 12 videos, 12 days in a row on my Facebook Live, I have been doing a sneak peek of different products out of the up-and-coming celebration brochure and the mini catalog. So both of these are going to go live on January the 4th. And I wanted to just give you just a little peek at what you have to look forward to because there's so many amazing products coming out. So for today, for the sneak peek, what I'm going to be sharing with you is one of our celebration offers. So actually two of them. We have got a celebration coming out January 4th to February 28th, and it is a chance for you to earn free products for purchasing products. So for every $60 that you spend out of any of our current catalogs, as well as on clearance, you would earn an option to pick an item at the $60 value is what we call it. So this is one of them, this Island Vibe. So this is one of the stamp sets you could pick for free. You'll find a link or a playlist at the very end of this video, and it will be listed 12 days of sneak peeks. So if you want to see what other options you would be able to pick from, you can definitely check that out, as well as some of the items from the mini catalog coming out. And if you subscribe, of course, then you won't miss out on the videos that I will be doing coming up the next few days to finish off those 12 days of sneak peeks. This one here is another celebration stamp set. I'm going to use the greeting from here. This is a larger one. As you can see, there is, how many stamps have I got in here? 21 stamps. And so this one is at the 120 mark. So if you were to spend 120, then you could get this as a freebie. And I have been using this for a lot of my cards during my sneak peeks because it has so many great greetings for so many different occasions. So I like to partner the two together. For the card that I'm going to be making today, it is a square 4x4 card. I got inspiration actually from the celebration brochure and stamping on some vellum to do a little overlay. I thought it was so beautiful. I'm going to be bringing in also a little sneak peek from the mini catalog, and this is a new embossing folder. It is called Gingham, and it is part of the Sweet Talk, I think it is Sweet Talk Sweet? No, that can't be right. Of one of the brand new, I better look. It's going to drive me crazy. It is part of the, hold on. There it is right there. I can't show you the pages. I would love to show you the pages, but I can't because the catalog isn't live yet. It is Sweet Talk Sweet. That's just a tongue tie there, okay? So this is part of the suite of that, which is a whole bunch of papers and of course a stamp set and some dies that are beautiful, but I wanted to pull in the texture, as you can see that in the background here, okay? Now I originally did this one here. It was my husband's birthday and I wanted to do a green one. You know, one of our favorite places to go is Hawaii, and it just had a Hawaiian feel. Assuming we can't be there right now because of the pandemic. So Hawaii will have to wait, but the card was really cute, okay? At the end of this video, I also want to quickly walk you through how you can take any size card, doesn't matter what size card you're making, and you can make the quickest little envelope to match using just a piece of pattern paper. So I will show you that as well. It's kind of a nice bit of information to have, because then if you need an odd size envelope, you can make it real quick, okay? All right, so let's get started. This card is fairly quick when it goes together, and I'm going to start by stamping onto the backdrop with a little tone on tone. So I have got this big palm stamp out of the set, and I'm just going to go around and stamp all the way around the edges. So this is going to give us a really cool background for our pineapple to set. Just like that. Give it that tropical feel. And I'm even going to do a little bit in the space right there. Okay, so there is some tropical plants there, some palms, which we want. And I'm going to bring in, let's see here, the pineapple stamp. And I'm going to do some coloring directly onto the stamp. So for the pineapple, I'm going to pull in my Stampin' Write markers, and I wanted to go a slightly darker color than what I have used here. This is the Granny Apple Green, because I am going to be doing a vellum overlay, and when you do that, it does take away or lighten, mute the colors a little bit. So I wanted to start off with something really bold so that when you stick the vellum over top, then you can still see the colors through it really well. So I decided to pull in the shaded Spruce, which is a beautiful bright green. It's one of my favorites. And I'm gonna do the top of the pineapple with that. And then instead of going with just a normal kind of yellow or a bumblebee yellow for the pineapple, I wanted to again bring in something that was a little bit more bold. So this is the Mango Melody. It's more of a kind of a bright orangey yellow, but when we put that vellum over top, it's going to be the perfect color for that pineapple. So just remember, if you're doing vellum overlays, to use a slightly darker color underneath if you want that image to be able to shine right through. Okay, so let's now take our circle, and this is just some pieces that I cut out with our layering circle dies. Because I started coloring the green first, it is going to start to dry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use my breath to just huff on there a little bit. That's going to bring moisture back to that stamp. And when I pop it down here, it'll be nice and bold again. It'll stamp nice and in solids, because we won't have some voided areas that dried. Now you can use these Stampin' Write markers on all your stamps. If you have even like a large greeting stamp and you want to highlight different words in it, different colors, Stampin' Write markers are awesome because they are the exact same inks that are in our dies. So they are water-based, so that's why they work. When you do color them, you did see that I wasn't going straight on because I don't want to damage the nib of the marker. So I go to the side and use the side of it to color, and that just makes my markers last a little bit longer. Another tip for your markers is if they're starting to run out, but the tip is still good, you can take a pair of tweezers and you can just pull out this larger nib here, and then you can use your Stampin' or your little ink refills, the same ones you use for your ink pads, and you can just put a few drops of that ink inside the well of the pen, and then it is ready to go again. So they will continue to last, and you just re-ink them with your re-inkers for the ink pads, which is great because you already have those, hopefully, for those who want your markers to last forever. So you can also have your not only your stamp pads, but your markers last a long time. Okay, so let's bring in, we've got our pineapple ready. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp on vellum. And vellum you can stamp on with any regular color ink. And then, because it is a slippery surface though, you just want to make sure that you set it with some clear embossing powder. That is the key. So I will often, for an overlay, like I could do a full vellum front, and I could do a whole bunch of palm trees around the edge of it on the vellum, just stamping directly with my Granny Apple Green, and then I would just cover it up with a clear embossing and then heat emboss it. So not only is it going to set that instantly, so it's not going to run on the vellum, because if not, I got two of these out. If not, what's going to happen is that ink's going to sit on the surface. It's going to be a really long time before it's dry, and if any moisture gets on there, it's just going to wipe off because it is a slippery surface like that. So just heat setting it with the clear embossing does the trick. So not only, I'm going to do it here for you, not only does it set it, but when you put the clear embossing, oh, that I have a little bit. I'm going to go with it just because I didn't cut a spare piece of vellum just in case. I put a little too much ink on my stamp, but that's okay. I'm good with it. I just want to show you though that when you do use the clear powder over top, and this is for any project, what it's going to do is when you heat it up, it's actually going to intensify the color that you have added the clear embossing to. And I don't know whether it's just the illusion of doing that because it adds shine to it or what, but it does make it a more bolder color. Now for heat embossing with vellum, a little trick for you. Some people find it hard because your vellum can actually curl, but if you put it on a clipboard with aluminum foil, it is going to heat emboss so much faster. There we go here. And your vellum is not going to curl. And the reason why it does that is because, of course, the aluminum foil underneath starts conducting that heat and also setting it from the underside so that it does it twice as fast. Less curl. So that's a good little tip for vellum. I always have a clipboard with some aluminum foil on it, and I just get those from the dollar store. Okay, so there we have got our adorable little overlay for our pineapple. We are going to bring in our scallop circle. And I wanted to do a little pop of black. On this one I did white, and this one I did black. First of all, I want to texture this piece though. I want to use a little bit of gingham and have a look at it now, okay? Because then you're going to see what it looks like. I got to make sure this is up the right way. What it looks like once it's textured. This is a really easy way to add some depth and a little bit of extra interest to your background. So I will often do this. You just have to remember, of course, that you have to stamp first and then run it through the texture, because you can't stamp on a bumpy texture, right? So you just have to remember to do that step before you emboss it. So I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine, and I'm just going to grab, I just realized I have the wrong layering. Let's see. I'll just use these two guys here. Just grab some older plates, but that's okay, it'll still work. So I need to stick, this is one of just the regular embossing folder, not the 3D ones. So I need to stick it between two clear plates and with the base to run it through the machine. So we'll just do a little swipe by. There we go. And you will see how this adds some amazing texture to it. Okay, so now see how you have got that gingham pattern in there. It does make it almost a little bit more tropical, doesn't it? I love it. We're going to use that as a backdrop for our card. I'm going to bring in my glue and we'll start putting this together. Now you have to keep in mind when you are using vellum and you're attaching anything, you want to be careful where you put your adhesive because you don't want to see it when you attach it, right? So I'm going to bring in my pieces, and the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue my pineapple onto this base right here. Okay, just like that. I like using my Tombow because if I need to shift it ever so slightly, I can do that. It isn't stuck instantly. Now I'm going to bring in some glue dots here to attach my overlay to my pineapple. And what I want to do is I don't want my adhesives to be just up out in this area because you're going to see them right through. So I'm going to use my greeting and hide them in behind my greeting here, and you're not going to notice the adhesive as much. Okay, so we're going to lay that over top, and you don't even see it. Okay, make sure it's even. That looks about right. Okay, so it's attached right there. It isn't attached in the top. We're going to do that next when we add some embellishments to it. And then we're actually going to hide our glue dot in behind the embellishment. I'm going to pull in these polished dots. I am loving them. It's another little sneak peek for you from the mini catalog. This is one of the new embellishments. I also want to pull in, now this is my favorite ribbon from the holiday catalog. So if you're catching this video and it is still the month of December, you can probably still grab this off of the last chance list. We have got a lot of great items that are on that last chance list, but unfortunately they all are while supplies last. So if there was anything on your wish list that you were still really wanting from that holiday catalog, you're going to want to check out that list and grab it while you can and while it's still there, because once they're gone, they are gone. And unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to look before this video to see if this ribbon was gone or not, but I do love it. I always love a nice pop of black and white. And it makes a nice bold ribbon for this to go over top, just like that. I'm going to bring in my dimensions, and then we're going to add those embellishments, and I'll show you how I can hide my glue dots in behind them. It's quite clever, actually. And some of you may already be doing this, but rather than having just a random glue dot over this way to tack this down, I'm going to go and take my embellishment, get them out of here first, like that. And let's see, I'm going to use the clear ones for this one. So I'm going to put a larger one just right up here like that. And then I'm going to sprinkle some smaller ones. One there. I'd like to go in odd number, so I've got 3 on there. But now that I've got this larger dot here, what I can do is I can bring back my glue dots, and I can take one of them. I can just gently pull this back, pop a glue dot. Can you see what I'm doing there? Pop that glue dot on the other side of where that embellishment is, and then press it down. You don't see it because it's hidden in behind the embellishment. So I hope you can use that little tip down the road. There is our super cute square little island tropical card, a nice island feel for those tropical places we can't really travel to right now, or not yet anyway. But I do love this stamp set, and like I said, it's one that you can get for celebration, which is very cool because you can get it for free, and everybody likes free stuff. So there is one done in Pale Papaya, a little tone on tone. We've got the green, but with the white, and this one's got the black. So, I don't know, having a look, I do like how bold the black is. It does draw out the greeting a little bit more, but this is kind of nice too. Okay, now let's show you how you can make an envelope, a custom size envelope for your card. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Trimmer. And I'm going to bring in, let me just get a couple things out of the way, because I'm going to need a larger space for this. I'm also going to bring in a sheet of pattern paper. So I'm just going to use a little black and white for my envelope. I love using up just extra pieces of paper to make custom envelopes to match your cards. So I wanted to bring in the black and white feel that we have with our card. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to find out how large, of course, your card is. So you're going to want to measure across this way, and this one is 4 inches. So I want it to be, I need a piece of paper, depending on which way I want my stripes. I kind of want them this way. So I want a piece of paper that is twice that, but with an extra inch. So I'm going to go 9 inches just to be safe. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing that. Get my cut and trimmer out there like so. Okay, then I'm going to go and so I've got the right width for my card for the envelope. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my card this way. It is 4 inches. If you didn't want to bother to measure, you don't have to, but I'm going to just pull it down here. This is about how wide I want the top flap to go. So I'm going to go like that. And then I will need a little fold over. I've got 3/4 of an inch to an inch. I know I didn't measure it. So I'm just going to pull this down. So I've got about an inch on the top or just over. And then I'm going to have a look, and I've got close to an inch or 3/4 of an inch on the bottom here. So I'm just going to cut it like that. Okay, so just to review, I've got double the width plus an inch. Okay, and then I've got about 1.5 on the top, 3/4 here. You can always trim it as you go if you need to make it a little bit smaller, but I like to start off a little bit larger. Okay, now I am going to take this card, and this is where I'm just going to just do some rough scoring. Oh my goodness, it is early in the morning here in Victoria. It's like 6 in the morning. That's why my voice, I think, is not quite awake yet. But I'm going to go and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to just do a little line a couple inches in like that. Okay, then I want to make sure that I'm going to have clearance for this card to go in. So you know, on our regular envelopes, you end up doing your envelope is about 1/8 of an inch larger. I like to go almost 1/4 of an inch just to be clear. So I do have, I'm going to flip it over. So I've got my score line here. This card is 4 inches. So I'm going to pull this, and I'm going to go 4 1/4. Okay, I'm going to go 4 1/4, put it up this way, and then I'm going to do my other score line. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to go in. Now that we've got our sides done, I'm going to go in and I'm going to score from one edge. I'm going to score 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to flip it. And I am going to, again, take my score line, add 1/4 of an inch or so, and then do my other score. And that's going to make it so that this envelope has lots of clearance for this card. Okay. Now we're going to take this piece of paper. We're going to get out our bone folder. I got some scraps here that I can use for another project, but I'm going to grab my bone folder, and I just want to score all these lines really well. Then we're going to do a little bit of cutting. This is that Playful Patterns. It is a massive stack. Like, you get 24 sheets. Sorry, not 48. That would be a huge stack, but you get 24 pieces of gorgeous, different, fun, bright colored patterns. And then on the opposite side is always a black and white pattern. And again, I am a fan of black and white. Okay, so we have got our envelope scored here. It's going to overlap perfectly. We've got about 1/2 of an inch there for overlapping on the back to seal it, the main seam. But what I want to do next is I want to just notch out 1, 2, 3, 4 corners here. And I don't want to just notch them straight on. I want to, you can see where my score line is, and it's hard to see in the light. I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to just angle it ever so slightly into the side panel. So can you see that, how it's angled a little bit? And then I'm going to angle it into this bottom tab. Okay, so this is the piece that I cut out. Okay, I'm going to just go around and do the same here. This is going to make it so there isn't a lot of bulk when you're putting your envelope together, and it has a nice look to it. Okay, I'm going to do the same with the top, and what this does is it gives you that just kind of that nice kind of V in your envelope here, so it's easier to pull your card out of. Okay, so we're going to do the same on the top. I'm going to do it on this side so you can see it a little bit easier, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this tab out, but I am just doing a little tiny just shimmy into this main middle section, and then I'm going to cut it on an angle. Okay, so I'm going to go just like this. Okay, I'm going to do the same here. I mean, if you wanted to, you could make marks, you know, like say 1/2 inch down so that your cuts were exactly the same. I don't worry about it too much. I just eyeball it. That looks pretty good to me, okay? So that, I mean, the stripes would be an awesome envelope too, and you would have little lines to write the names on. But we are doing the black and white. We're gonna bring in our tear tape. So you do want a really strong adhesive for your envelope because you don't want it to fall apart. And this could be something that is going to be going into the mail. So we're gonna seal it off with some tear tape right here. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to seal off the bottom with some tear tape on the bottom flap. Oh, and I just overdid my tear tape, but that's okay. We can just tear it off. That's what I love about the tear tape. You don't have to get out the scissors. Okay. Just take that off there, fold up the bottom. And because I've trimmed it, there isn't like some buckling when I go to fold that up. There's lots of clearance for that flap to go up there. You've got a nice V, so when I put in my card, let's bring in my card. There's lots of clearance on the sides, and you've got a little V to pull your card out. You've got lots of clearance because we did 1/4 inch wider and 1/4 inch taller, and you've got lots of clearance for your card to go in. Okay, so that is a really quick and easy card that you can do, and it is a matter of just whatever size. It could just be even a poster or whatever you're making, or maybe it's a gift and you want to add because there is a slight, maybe it's a bit thicker. Just take that into account when you're doing your width, maybe to add an extra inch to allow for that thickness. If you're doing like a 3D card, it's great to be able to make the envelopes so they don't get crushed, so there's a little bit more room. Or if you have just a very thin little gift that you want to put into an envelope, this will work out beautifully as well. Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed my little sneak peek of the Island Vibe stamp set. But not only that, learning how to make a very quick and easy envelope to size any of your cards. Okay, there you have it. I hope you guys will subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out all the other sneak peeks that I have going on. Remember, just find the playlist at the end of this video and it'll take you to all the other ones that are uploaded so far. Okay, there will end up being 12 in total at least. So just keep an eye open for those new ones that are released onto YouTube. Okay, cheers and have a great day. Thank you.